Hey everyone, welcome back to the Context Engineer. So, I'm hoping that by now you have seen all these 12 videos so far and you know about the Claude product, the Codex, and the anti gravity tool. Very similar to each other, but minor variations. Now, what we are going to do next in our series of videos team is actually build a product together. Okay, and I will do the product development right in front of you. I'll get your feedback. In fact, you can give me some suggestions as we all learn together and we'll proceed further. Now, to do this team, what I have done is I already have a separate Claude Max account which I've been using for the past 6 months. And as and when I've been doing a lot of product developments, right? I've trained the model based on my requirements, based on my preferences. Okay. Now, what I have done is I've trained it in such a way that it helps me step by step build a product. Now, what if I want to take that knowledge out and train somebody else? How do I do that? And that is what I'm going to show you today. And for that, what I have done, team, I have registered a new Claude account, which is a completely free version of the Claude. So my previous version, which I had, it's a max plan, so which has learned a lot of information. Think of that as somebody who has learned, who has more experience, and think of this one as a fresher who has just joined, who does not know much about anything except a college graduate, but he or she does not know about application development. He does not know about industry, nothing. Okay, I'm going to start from scratch. Now, how do I provide knowledge or how do I provide that information to this new person? That's what we're going to look at. So imagine, put yourself in that situation. You are a fresher, you're joining a company. What if you had the knowledge and experience of somebody who has worked for 20 years? In human life, this is not possible to download that information. But when it comes to AI, it is possible to download that information. It is possible to condense that information, and it is easily possible to transfer that knowledge from one AI to another AI. And that is why what I have done, team, I'm going to give the context of the expert developer or a product builder to this fresh product builder. And how do I do this? Is providing context. Now, the name of the channel is Context Engineer, which means that the focus of this channel is going to be context, which also means that we need to provide context to this young developer who has joined your team. How do we do that? Now, if you've gone through the trainings, you know that in Claude, there are three different products. One is obviously Claude.ai. The other one is Claude Cowork, which is your desktop app. And we have seen that in the past. And the third one is Claude Code. Obviously, we will be using Claude Code for development and we will be using the CLI or IDE for development. I will not be using the Claude Code on the Claude desktop app because that is very slow. I will be directly using either the terminal or I will be using the IDE. Depending on the performance, we will see that. But before that, there's another thing which we will be using, and that's the Claude.ai, the chat itself. Now, you may have heard people saying that do not use the chat, directly use the agentic development tool, which is fine, okay, if you're a little advanced. But my suggestion would be always start with the Claude chat. And it's not a simple, straightforward chat I'm talking about, and you'll see that shortly. My suggestion would be to use Claude chat as a guru, as a teacher, and make the Claude chat teach you to do your product development. Okay. And what I mean by that is in the left side, you will see some options here. This is chat, obviously the regular chat which you see here. Then you have projects, then you have artifacts, and then you have customize. So these are the things which are available in the free version. Right now, I'm in the total free version. Later on, as we see some limitations, we will go to the pro version, and then if needed, we can go to the max plan. In my other account, I have a max plan, which means that I have learned so much information. I've trained the model and learned so much information like a senior developer. Now I want to transition all that knowledge to the fresher over here. That's what I want to do. I want to try it out. Obviously, if that doesn't work, slowly we will slide to upgrade to this plan also, but let's start with here. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is in the free version, you see the different models over here, but unfortunately for us, we only have Sonnet 4.6. Opus is not available, and today, June of 9th, the Fable 5 came in. Even that is not available, and even for others, it is available only till June 22nd. Haiku is available, which we are not going to use. And then in the effort, we have these many efforts and then thinking. So let's keep the thinking on. Let's keep the maximum efforts on because anyway, it's a free version, right? Let's use that. If needed, we'll minimize it later on. Or in fact, let's say, let's keep it at a high level. if needed, we can go to max level. So that's the second thing I wanted to tell you. Now, the third thing is in the left side, go to this project option. So this project, there are two projects. One project is available in the Claude.ai and the other project is available in your Claude Desktop Cowork. Now, whatever you define in Claude Desktop Cowork, that is restricted to your local machine. So you cannot transfer the knowledge into different machines. But this is where I find Claude.ai projects more useful, because then you can transition to different machines. You can still have those rules here and you can use them to do your development. That's the approach I prefer taking. People keep saying that, you can use Cowork and Claude Code. Claude Code we will still use for doing the actual development. Okay, but that's again going to be on your local machine. But the knowledge which we are going to either learn or train, that is required to be kept on cloud, so that we can use that same knowledge, the same project, the same context in different machines while on the go. So that is the reason I always recommend to create projects like this. So the first thing I'm doing in a fresh instance, I'll go and create a new project and I'll call it product development project. Okay, I'm creating this project for creating a product. What I mean is, I hope all you software engineers know the difference between a project and a product, a project lifecycle and a product lifecycle. Product lifecycle is much longer than a project lifecycle. You create a project, you build a product using that project, you close the project, but then the product still lives till the product gets retired. I hope I do not have to get into that, but I just wanted to mention that here. So whatever you have learned in your software engineering principles, that all applies even to AI. Keep that in mind. Now I have created this project, but how do I provide context? Now this guy, the developer, he's working on this product development project, but he does not have any knowledge of either the environment or the approach or whatever, right? How do you train him like somebody who has worked in project or product development for maybe like 5 years, 6 years? How do you do that? In AI, like I said, it is very much possible, and it is possible using this. This is the area where you provide context. Now, what I have done, let me show you. From my Max account, right, I have exported all the knowledge. Now, at these documents which you see over here, these were not created in one day, just like Rome was not built in one day. Over the past 6 months or 7 months, I have been training the model. I have been giving it a lot of information. I have been learning from it. I have been refining it. So all this which I did, this is the final output. And how did I get this information? It was not in the system. It was not in these files in the beginning. It was inside of the Claude's memory. As and when I've been talking to the system, it had captured all that and I had made sure that it remembers over a period of time. I used to download the memory, upload the memory, that sort of thing. I've created multiple chats to manage the context. All that we will talk about in future. For now, imagine that this, what you see, is the dump of the expert's brain or the experienced person's brain. We have taken a dump of all that information. We have created a claude.md file. We have created a persona.md file. We have created a readme.md file. And in addition to that, the development philosophy. If you're creating a new product, what should be the flow? How do we handle the GitHub repo? How do we do a evaluation criteria? All that has been listed here, team. And whatever you are seeing here, whatever files you are seeing here, they are the outcome of the product's learning over a period of time. But I have downloaded all that in bunch of files here for the new fresher to learn. And that's the approach I'm taking. Tomorrow, I may be using a similar file structure for training Codex. Tomorrow, I would be doing similar approach for anti-gravity. I would be using a similar approach for something else also. So for now, it's Claude. Okay. So this is the project knowledge and we'll see these files later. And then the second one, there are some instructions, project instructions. Now let's first open that. And I'm going to be opening that in Notepad. Okay. So this is an export of the instructions which I had been giving to my Claude Max over a period of 5-6 months. But I asked it to make it generic and give me a dump of everything. Now I prefer Python-based libraries and things like that. So that's why it basically lists all that over here. Okay. Now I want to give this tool a name. So let's do a copy paste, Control H. So I'm going to call it Tony, the developer. Okay. Replace all. And this one, team, I'm going to give my name, or my alias name, which is Kumar. Or in this case, I'll say Vish and I'll tell you why. Replace all. Okay. So this is the instruction. Now let me do a Control A, Control C, and then go to Claude and then add the instructions over here. Okay. This is what I'm doing. And I'll remove this too. So what I did, I went to my Claude Max account and I gave it a bunch of prompts and I told it that I want to train somebody new. You give me this, that, all sort of files. And I gave it certain requirements that it needs to be certain way. So all this you will see here, that it has to have this philosophy, new product flow. So all this information I gave it, and everything is now listed here. That's your project instructions. Now, when it comes to the project files, those are the files which are over here, Okay. So let's upload this, upload from the device. And then I'm uploading all that over here. So now what has happened here, although we have quickly uploaded everything, what has happened here is everything which the senior developer, that is the Claude Max, had learned over a period of 6 months with me, building with me, all that knowledge is condensed into these files. And now these files have been imported into this fresher guy. Now this fresher has all that kind. So that was my first thing. Now let's go back to all projects here. So you will see the project is listed here. Now, whenever we do any kind of development, we will be taking the instructions from this tutor over here, product development project. We will follow the instructions and then we'll come here in the command prompt. Maybe I'll go to a drive and I'll paste the folder name. Okay. And then we come here and start Claude here. So you see today it's introducing Fable 5. I don't know if we should be using Fable 5, but probably this is taking to my other account here. I'll have to use the other login account. But anyway, we are going to do in the next session. So what I'm trying to tell you is, team, we have to come here and build the product using the knowledge which we have gained from the Claude Max, but we have to do that using the fresher version of Claude, which is the free version of Claude. I hope that made sense. Okay. We will do something like that. We'll take the instructions from this screen and we'll build it using Claude Code. That is going to be the approach in this series of video. Today, I was just going to give you an introduction. Okay. So now I would just blindly start. I would like to build a product and just say chat. Now, as you know, it has been trained. So good. Let's do it properly. What is the core problem you're trying to solve? What is actually broken or missing today? So it's basically asking me questions. I want to build an application which shows me the currency conversion between two countries over a period of 50 years. Let's see what it says. Got it. Who's this for? Just you, or are you building for others to use? Me and others. So the thing is, right, it will ask you questions to ask. What does success look like? What's the specific signal that tells you this worked? Now, why is this asking me these kind of questions? The reason it is asking me these kind of questions is because in my Claude Max, I've given it rules that it has to behave certain way. And in the subsequent videos, we will see all those files individually. But today, I just wanted to show you and kickstart this approach. So what does success look like? I'll say success is basically an online application which shows me the trend of currencies between two countries, and it should show me accurate information. And it'll keep going like this. The point is, we will be doing a similar kind of product development in the series of these videos, but it will not immediately start jumping into any development. It is asking me these hard questions because they are coming from the instructions which I provided. So today's video, I thought of just giving you this quick introduction, and I hope you kind of get the idea of what we are trying to achieve. Now, the help which I need from all of you is that I want you to tell me what is the product we all should build, because I want ideas coming from you. Even I have some ideas in my mind. In fact, there is a website by the name of Idea Browser, and you will see a lot of ideas over here in this ideas. But I want something which is more practical. So the help which I need from all of you is please comment with some ideas so that we can build that product. So it's asking what must not do, any hard scope. For example, no user account, no payments, no. It's basically asking me questions because see, I just gave it a simple line. It will not start developing something. Normally, when you do not train it, it'll just start something from the scratch and it'll give you some useless information. But because I have trained it, it is going to give me something which is going to be used. So it's asking me questions. And if you remember, we spoke about the grill me command and all that in the past videos. This entire learning has all that knowledge. Okay, and that is why it is asking me these questions. And we will proceed the same way in our product development journey. Okay, I hope that made sense. Like I said, please comment and then we'll start thinking about a good product where we can all build it together. The dream is that we'll build a good product, we'll also deploy it online. That's the dream product. Initial product, I'll keep it completely, maybe we can keep it open source and then we'll take it next steps in the future. All right, team, thank you so much. I'll talk to you in the next session. Bye.